Welcome to Self, the podcast about self exploration, discovery, and expression and education. One day I'm going to do it, I promise y'all. I'm going to have a nice little intro for it, or I can just keep mixing it up. You can make a game out of it and see how I'm going to say it. You'll notice that my voice sounds a lot better. I've been up for a while now, and I'm not sniffling, so I guess I did just have allergies. I don't know where that came from. I am not someone who regularly gets sniffles or allergies when the seasons change, but I guess it's that old age catching up to me, man. 32, going into 33 is hitting different. I'm at the point now where I got 4 weeks until my move to Portland, and in great news, I received verbal confirmation that a grant that I, as Courtney Brain, was considered for in the realm of podcast production was approved. So that secures income, at least for now. I don't know the duration of the project, but yay, I did it. And I'm really embracing this potential digital nomad lifestyle that's to come while I'm on my way to Portland, Oregon. I'm going there and creating opportunities for myself. And so far, so good. The way that things have fallen into place, this is the right thing for me to do. Over the past couple of weeks, I have had to transition my dating game. And what I mean by that is I went from, probably late August, early September, contemplating whether or not I was going to move or if I was going to stay here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I kind of let what was going on with the job that I had applied for at a sexual health organization here in St. Louis, I kind of let that be the final nail in the coffin for my decision here. I was, in fact, extended an offer. It was an offer that wouldn't work for me. And I shared with them that what we initially proposed actually works better, I think, for everybody, because it was supposed to have been similar to what I've done for my Something Positive for Positive People podcast, interviewing people in the realm of STD prevention. However that would have been molded, we didn't go into many details, but I broke down to them. I was like, hey, this is about 20 hours of work, and you want two people doing this as well as other things, whereas I would potentially be much more useful to the support functions of a person who this is their primary role as a consultant. So I presented that, and I've committed to making this move and making things work out for me in the way that I choose. So I'm really pumped about this finally being what it is that I'm doing and it happening, running Something Positive full time. And yeah, just getting out of St. Louis as well. The reason that I shared that I was supposed to bring it back full circle, but I don't remember what that thing was. Oh, I do remember now, dating. So dating for me has had to transition because I went from, thinking that this was home. I had until July until my lease ended, and when July hit was going to be when I just decided not to renew my lease. But given recent circumstances with work, I've gone from just like looking for partners to now all of a sudden getting matches and being tested by whatever higher power it is that exists to see how bad I want, how committed I am to my decision to move to Portland. Because now all of a sudden I'm getting all these matches, I'm having conversations with people that are seemingly in line with what it is that I wanted, but now I got 4 weeks here, so I'm having to say that pretty quickly and early to people who I match with that I've swiped on probably several months ago. And the thing about online dating too is that it's super random. It's really about timing more than anything. And I think for typically heterosexual people, I don't have experience outside of this, But I know that men, a lot of the men that I know, we just right swipe everything, and then once we get the match, then we decide if that person's attractive or not. So when women, especially ones who are attractive, swipe right on a guy, that's a match. And now you're in the process of texting, courting, conversation, and trying to get to know someone, and then making plans to hang out. I can't imagine how I would handle every right swipe of mine being a match. I just don't know how I would handle it. So for me, whenever there is someone who I find attractive on an online dating site, I'm very aware that there's gonna be timing issues there. So I've stopped swiping on people local to me because I am going to be moving to Portland on October 31st. Yeah, it'll be Halloween. Halloween is when I fly out to Portland, Oregon. I got two of my suitcases packed up to the max, and then I have what will be my carry-on, which is about a half-size duffel bag that I'll probably just fill up with socks, drawers, t-shirts, and sweats. um, so yeah, this is where we at. This is happening. But anyway, the dating thing. Over the last month ish, um, having to ethically communicate to people, hey, I'm not going to be here much longer, so I want to make sure that, you're aware of that. How do you want to move forward? Some people have just been like, yeah, I still want to hang out and meet up. And that's been pleasant. That's been nice. I don't think that I've met up with any of these people that I've matched with on the dating apps. I have noticed that the clear communication opens people up to clearly reciprocate that communication. And what I mean by that is when I say, yeah, I'm only here through the end of the month, I think that gives people an opportunity to let their guard down and be clear in their intentions about who they are, because then it's like, oh, well, I'm not looking for anything serious anyway. I just want to have fun. And then it's, oh, well, you seem interesting. I would still like to meet. And I'm not one to call anyone crazy, but a few instances have emerged where I've been like, something's not consistent here. So I'll use inconsistent. Let's say inconsistent instead of crazy. That works much better. The inconsistency of a person's intense enthusiasm versus the behavior. So the enthusiasm is more verbal, textual, it's in digital exchanges. But then when the behaviors don't match that energy, you're left with this inconsistency. And through patterns, habits, our interactions with other people, we tend to unconsciously create a narrative for the person or have expectations of them. And when these expectations fail to be met, that's when we get to the point of calling someone crazy. And I don't think it's crazy. I think it's just inconsistent, because someone who knows they're crazy and they're like, yeah, I do this thing, I'm crazy. Or, yeah, I do this thing, but it's consistent. That's not a crazy person. That's a consistent person, regardless if their behaviors are perceived as crazy or not. And even with crazy, what does it mean to be crazy? What does it mean? Not normal, right? But then we get into queerness, and I guess that's an embraced method of not normal, right? So what's queer, crazy, both are just not people's ideas, people's perceived ideas of normal. So I say that because I don't like the word crazy. It's not one that is in my vocabulary. I might have said it about someone once or twice over the course of 2021, since realizing that crazy is just a matter of inconsistency between behaviors and what's actions and what's being said, digital versus real life interactions, right? So yeah, it just doesn't work. So inconsistency is what I'm going for here. My overall experience has been much more positive on Instagram. I think that Instagram provides a really good method, or social media in general, of consistency. You can see what a person's about, you can see who they are, you can demonstrate that for yourself, and you can see what they post on a regular basis. How consistent is it? What's the consistency? And does that match their energy in real life? I've had instances where that has not been the case, and when things escalate to a point of beyond that intense enthusiasm at the beginning, you learn real quick how not sustainable that can be for some people. And I've met plenty of women via social media who get this online version of me, and it's not a sustainable aspect of myself. That's one part of my identity. H on my chest, the mental health advocate, the sex positivity guy, that is part of me. And I think that perhaps people look exclusively at that to the point where the self Courtney comes out. I would consider this to be like real me, because this is unedited. It's coming straight from whatever this thing is inside me that produces the sound from my vocal cords, my essence. It's my essence. The electricity that runs through the nervous system that fuels movement, thought, action, beliefs, all of that. So a lot of people start to get into that point, or have no desire to get to that point, and only want to connect with H on my chest. And then that's when I noticed the instability of it. Like, it's not sustainable. Insustainability. Why did I say instability? But it's just not a sustainable thing. And as far as like consistent partners that I've had, they've known Courtney and then become introduced to H on my chest, and it's like, oh wow, that's cool. But the energy's been consistent throughout the entirety of the interaction. No one's met Courtney and then found out about H on my chest and then got more excited. People have met H on my chest and then gotten to know Courtney, or gotten to the point of there's a real Courtney here, and then the energy's drifted off. Because I'm not going to say I'm boring, but a lot of my life is in fact dedicated to service, and service in itself may not be the most exciting thing, especially considering where my priorities are. If my priorities are answering all of the emails and messages that I get, building community, organizing or participating in events, and a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of who I portray to be as H on my chest, it's not pretty. It's like making sausage. I had a teacher, Mike Simmons, in college, Dr. Mike Simmons, let me make sure I clarify that, in college, who would always talk about this making sausage. No one wants to see the behind the scenes of what goes into making sausage, but by the end of it, it tastes good. It looks appealing. You can look at it, you can eat it. And that's me. Behind the scenes, the making of the sausage that is who H on my chest is perceived to be. Like, I got to take care of myself. Sometimes I just want to bum out, play video games. I want to watch my anime. I want to do my yoga. And it's not typically exciting things. I don't drink a ton. I'll drink on occasions. I don't smoke or do any type of drugs. I mean, I might smoke weed when it's offered, but I typically don't keep it at my house. I don't buy it. If it's offered to me, all right, cool, I'll take it. But at this point in time, I say this as a St. Louis, Missouri resident, that's not been a thing for me. And so I'm just not someone who is perhaps like what people are used to seeing online. And there's this expectation of online versus reality that I don't think enough people take a look at. And I've been in plenty of like weekend flings where I've had to travel to people. And as someone who has herpes, dating is still just like dating. Compatibilities or not, me having an STI that I manage, that I live with, that could potentially be passed on or could not be passed on depending on the interaction. I'm in a position where that can be a potential incompatibility for someone. And I recognize that because on my end, someone's Receptiveness can be something that I consider an incompatibility. I mean, if someone's like, oh, yeah, that's cool, or if they overlook it completely, or if they say no, like these are all things that fall under the category of compatibility. So I give all of that background there to say this: date as if you are in your ideal relationship. Your ideal relationship clearly needs to be the relationship that you have with yourself. I'm not even going to go there, but imagine what it would be like if you had your ideal relationship, your significant other, and that you were fulfilled already in that relationship. Date as if you are, because from this place, you can only look to add to what already is there rather than focusing on what you don't have and trying to just get that need met. And for a few examples, let's use myself. I was in a relationship through most of through probably the first half of 2021. So, and the relationship was open. And so, in my dating while in this open relationship, I dated as if I had everything that I needed and wanted in a partner. And the thing that was missing was closeness. So in this relationship, it became a long distance one. So there was such a focus on what I didn't have that my priority shifted to getting what I didn't have. Therefore, my standards and expectations would have decreased, and I wasn't holding true to my values of what it meant to be dating or in relationships with other partners. I wasn't adding to what I already had. In fact, I would argue taking away from what I already had by pursuing what it was that I didn't have. So having a healthy and fun, spontaneous sex life that was full of trust and wholeheartedness and embrace and just kept getting better over time, being able to travel, have experiences, have like the family experience, being able to essentially be working towards something, having cooking and being able to enjoy wine and share vulnerability with another person. And these were all the things that I had in that relationship. Adding to those things should have been what the focus was, right? So what can I get more of out of this? All right, well, I going into it like, oh, I would like to have more blank experiences or whatever. These are things that I should have taken into my dating. Whereas I was like, man, I'm not having enough sex because this is a long distance relationship. I would like to get more sex because I'm not having enough. I think that being able to say that one way versus the other completely shifts the intention. I'm not having enough sex puts a negative on your current partner, and it focuses laser style on your new prospective partner, and it's very limiting on the capacity of the relationship that you're pursuing. Because now it's like, all right, who can give me more sex? Who can give me a high quantity of sex? So does the quality suffer? Does the quality of the sex with your current partner suffer? What is it that can be added to? Adding to that relationship would have looked like, all right, well, we're open. We want to have more experiences. I want to, more sex would be cool, but I'm very satisfied in my sex life now. How about inviting someone or people into our sex life or into my sex life from that sense? That is an abundance mindset where I can choose to be picky and I'm not looking at anything that's lacking. I'm looking at what's there and what I would like more of. So looking at it from that lens, that's what it looks like. Looking at it from the scarce lens, it doesn't look like a healthy thing. Let's say with, I want more dates. If I just want to socialize more, right? So going into it like I'm not going on enough dates, I'm not getting enough social interaction versus I love the social interactions that I'm having with my partner. How can I create more of these experiences? those are two different mindsets. Those are two different intentions behind them. So dating with the purpose of adding to and building onto versus looking for it puts you in a situation where you're like laser focused. So if I want more dates, then I'll get those more dates with a high quantity of people versus looking at the quality of the person. And I'm so focused on, all right, is this a date, that I might be missing out on the opportunity, the endless and infiniteness of another person who can, I can add value to their life and they can add value to mine in ways that aren't just dates or social interactions. Think about how networking works. I don't think that we really network at networking events. I think that our networking takes place when we just don't have any sort of expectations. We get to go somewhere, be ourselves, connect with a person. And then when it comes to the point of, all right, well, what do you do? Oh, I do this thing. Oh my God, I am in this field. I can connect you to so-and-so, and bam, make money together. That's the abundance mindset, because you going into an interaction are open to whatever the interaction has to bring to the table with the expectation of adding to what you have. It's just a different energy behind it. And when you go to a networking event, typically people there are looking to get, take. What can you do for me? Regardless of the facade of, well, what can I do for you? Here's what I can do for you. Because the intention is to do something for someone else in order for something to be done for you. So when we date like we're in a relationship, we are typically going into uh, our interactions with an abundance mindset of, all right, well, I got this going on for me. It is what it is. We don't tend to let red flags just fly by. We don't ignore those. We can see those and be like, I don't need that. That's taken away from what I already got. I'm looking to add to, not have taken away from in my interactions. So as we are pursuing relationships, even if you're not in a relationship, I think that this is really something useful to people who identify as monogamous, but to take that non-monogamous mindset and be like, all right, well, I have a partner who is doing all of these things. Why would I want any less than that? So let that ideal relationship of yours be the standard. Because now when you're looking for what's in abundance already. You like those pleasant experiences. You like the positivity that's there. How can you bring in or add to what's already there? Is this something that's in your range of perspective? Is it outside your range of perspective? I'll say for myself, my relationships, I really would like to be with people who we got the opportunity to make money together, or collaborate, combine, join on a project, and just be able to make a lot of money together, have great sex, make a lot of money together, be connected. And yeah, like I'm pretty simple in that sense. What it looks like for me to date as if I'm already in a relationship. Because I am in a place where I'm transitioning a move, or even transitioning to an overall lifestyle change, to where I don't have one fixed home. I just listened to the Jordan Harbinger show, the podcast, and he had interviewed the founder of Airbnb, and he was talking about how COVID has impacted the travel and overall like workforce. I am able to, I have an entirely digital format at which I am able to support myself. I can go live anywhere for a few months and work as long as I need to each day, do what it is that I got to do, collect my check, and move on to the next place. I don't have to have a fixed place that I call home. I don't need to have a house. I can just travel right now and look for what home is going to be. But maybe travel is my road. Maybe there is no point in time where, I just keep coming back home to visit. But instead there's a place, because I'm packing up 2 suitcases and a carry-on, and I'm out. I'm taking my summer clothes and some personal belongings that have sentimental value to me over to my dad's, and I'm gonna put those in his basement, out of the way, stowed away. He owns his house, and they got like 10 years left on it before it's paid off. So I don't see them selling it anytime soon, or hopefully nothing bad happens to it, because the sentimental stuff includes like journals and my picture of Goku that hangs up over the wall behind me. That was drawn for me by my best friend's brother-in-law. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I mean, I recognize now that dating is just really gonna look different for me. I'm moving to Portland, Oregon. We'll see, what that looks like for me and how things are going in that setting. But I'm very well aware that I'm mobile now. I have the potential to be mobile. And with how the pandemic has impacted the way that we work, this might be my normal. This might even be how I find, my person or my people, just through being able to travel and, finding someone who's also committed to this type of lifestyle, like exploring and getting the opportunity to see the world in places that we didn't have this opportunity to do in 2019, or this just wasn't a reality that the workforce and employers were able to get behind. So, yeah, I'm approaching this from this abundant mindset and what it looks like to travel as if I'm already in a fixed, secure place. I don't think that really applies to the date like you already are in a relationship. So let me not try to force that analogy to fit. But I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm excited. I am packed up 4 weeks before I'm even supposed to leave. So that should tell you something there. Yeah, this is where we at. I can't stop smiling now. I'm at peace with this transition. Excited and enthusiastic about what's to come next. Opportunities are abundant. They're abundant. I've been applying for speaking engagements, grants, and I'm almost finished with my 300-hour yoga teacher training. So there's also that. But ultimately, the purpose of this episode is to encourage people to just date like you're already in a relationship. Do everything as if you're not lacking. Whatever it is that you pursue it as if you're not lacking in. And I don't mean in a nonchalant way, but in a way that while in pursuit of this career, when a red flag comes up, don't allow for yourself to settle. Give yourself a standard. Let that relationship that you have or that you are pursuing be what the standard is, as if you're already in that relationship. And then it's only up from there. And renew your standards. Continue to grow them and evolve them as time progresses. I found it in doing that for myself. Like, I am bringing in much more high quality potential partners and partners. I am welcoming in more high quality, high value career opportunities, partnership opportunities. And it requires you to say no to that thing that looks so good. That job that I was talking about, they said they started out at $52,000 a year. And it came with benefits and paid vacation. I'm about to cry thinking about it. I'm turning this down for me to not have benefits, make way less money, but have my happiness, have my freedom. And these are things that I value. And as long as your behaviors are in line with your values, you're avoiding the crazy. But no, that's not. That you're avoiding the inconsistencies. So yeah, in maintaining consistency between my beliefs and my behaviors, I know that I'm on the road to success, and this perpetuated increase and raising of what my standards are, so that I am able to consistently flex that abundant muscle and continue to draw in what's right for me, what's in alignment, what's best for me, so that I can continue to be of service and have this boring self Courtney, yoga Courtney, non H on my chest version of myself that people get to a point of either wanting to get to know or learning and loving as a result. That concludes this episode of Self. I hope that you were able to get something useful out of this, because I always get something useful out of just sharing. So it's coming from a really deep place within me, just reflecting on my most recent experiences. So I hope that this is something that you're able to take away from and have your own deep reflections for yourself. Thank you.